Salute, Coach Fleming here, aka Feint, back with another hybrid boxing video. At first glance, boxing seems simple enough. You just move around and you punch. But there are layers to this game. It's called the sweet science for a reason. When you start out, you learn the basics, the fundamentals. And then you build skills, skill sets, concepts and tactics on top of those, and you become a pugilist. And when you're in a fight, to keep it simple, you can adopt 3 basic mindsets. You can assert pressure, moving forward. You can retreat, moving backwards. Or you can go into survival mode if you are overwhelmed. We stick to these 3 basic mindsets in order to keep it simple, simplify the game. That's the way to learn. Box step and pivot is very basic. And I have already covered this in other videos on my channel. But I'm just gonna give you a short recap so we know what we are talking about. A box step is moving forwards, backwards, right and left. And you do this in a box like this. Every time I step, the direction I step is where I put my weight, where I plant. And the leg that follows is the light leg. So I step forward, planting and following with the light leg. I step to the right, planting on my right leg. I step back, planting on my rear leg. I step to the left, planting on my left leg. This is a simple box step. From a good stance, move, 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 move. You can go in either direction. That's the box step. The pivot is simply from a good stance. You swing to your left or you swing to your right. You swing your hip like this, bringing your rear leg around. Or you swing your hip like this, bringing your rear leg around like this. That's the basic pivot and the basic box step. In this video, we're going to cover some concepts and principles you can use with these basic skills in order to build the next layer on your way to becoming a pugilist. The information covered in this video is what you need in order to take your basic skills, such as the box step and the pivot, to the next level. So watch the video from start to end and you will be on your way to becoming a true pugilist. Enjoy. I always hit Bob and he keeps coming back for more. Why is that? Short answer, he likes it. If you like this video, you should come back for more too. And the best way to do that is just a quick as a 1, 2, hit like, hit subscribe. It actually helps the YouTube algorithm and that helps me to make more videos for you. And as you are enjoying this content, don't forget to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it with you. I appreciate you. Here's what you have to do. I'm back. You can dominate an opponent with a good understanding of the basic box step and the basic pivot if you know how to use it. Box steps are very well suited for setting traps. A few examples could be you are in your stance and you notice that every time you move in, your opponent is throwing a counter in order to stop you. He's basically using a stop hit. So as you move forward, instead of following with your rear foot like this, what you want to do is move and pivot. So now he's off, going straight ahead like this. And you can, if you step forward straight with your box step like this, you might want to pivot a little less because now you have a good angle to the opponent. if you step forward a little to the side, you can pivot further because now you are on the side of your opponent. Let me demonstrate. We have Bob here. As I'm stepping in towards Bob, I pivot a little bit, keeping an angle to Bob like this. As I step a bit further, as I'm stepping in to the side, I pivot more, giving me this angle. So that's one example. Let me move Bob out of the way. Another example could be setting traps with your box steps. You move to the side like this. Your opponent is used to seeing this, you're moving. But you could also use foot feints. So you move and you step back. Now you are in front of your opponent as he is turning towards where he thought you were moving. You could do the exact same thing to the opposite side. Move and step back. And now you're back in front of the opponent. With Bob it would look like this. I'm moving out here. Bob starts to turn as I'm moving. But I move and I step back. Now I have the angle. Exact same thing here. I move out here. Bob starts to follow. I move out and back. And now I have the angle right here. So that's foot feints. A couple of examples of how you can use feints with your box step, with your simple box step. So you set traps. You can also move back, and as the opponent follows, you plant and then counter. So the opponent, you might want to bait the opponent a little, not really lowering your guard, but sort of giving him an indication that he can punch you, keeping this hand a little low. And then as he's throwing, you step back, step in. That's a draw feint using a simple box step. Step back, boom, counter. So setting traps with your box steps is basic, and you're combining box steps and pivots to do this. As if your opponent is moving forward with extreme pressure, you can move back, but this is no good in the long run. So as you're moving back, boom, pivot off. As you're moving back, boom, pivot off. So that's how you use your simple box steps and your simple pivots to set traps in order to get angles and counter, or getting angles and attacking your opponent. I'm now going to cover all 4 directions of the box step, one direction at a time, starting with side steps. Some key points with the side step is you can use the side step to avoid incoming punches. The first way to avoid is simple. As the punch is heading your direction, boom, you side step. Or the punch is coming, boom, you side step. Bob's right arm is coming straight from my face right here, boom, I side step. Bob's left arm is coming, a straight punch, boom, I side step. The straight side step is to avoid straight punches. Using a side step, you have to stay defensively responsible. This is done by keeping the hands high, moving them around a little so they are in motion. This is also known as Swatting Flies. As you step out, depending about what your opponent is throwing, you can block with this hand and then this hand, or you can block with this hand and then this hand. You can block with this hand and then this hand, or you can block with this hand and then this hand. But you're moving offline in either case. Offline, offline. I'm swatting flies, boom, boom. I'm swatting flies, boom, boom. This is to avoid straight punches, staying defensively responsible. If the opponent is throwing hooks instead, I have two ways to move away. If he's throwing a left hook like this, his hook is coming over here towards me. I can step away from the left hook, covering here, but now the right hand might come, so now I'm covering here. Now I have the angle, I'm able to counter. If he's throwing a right hook or overhand right, and I'm moving away, I'm covering here, but now the left hand is dangerous, so now I'm covering here. That's moving away from the hook. Let's say he's throwing a left hook, coming over here, and I'm moving out. This is into the power. So as I'm sidestepping and I realize the left hook is coming, I'm moving out and pivoting. So now I'm not at the end of the punch, I'm inside the punch. So I start to move out into the hook and then I pivot like this. Now I have the angle, I'm inside his arm and can counter. All I have to worry about is this hand over here, and this is not so dangerous because I'm in close. I'm in his armpit. The same thing goes over here. As I start to move out here with my block high, I see that this hand is coming here or here like this. So instead of moving straight into the power like this, I'm pivoting in his armpit, able to counter. So straight punches, you move away like this, and hooks, you pivot in, and you pivot in, moving to the side. This is sidestepping. Next comes moving forward. And the way, what we are doing when we are moving forward is basically, we are going in to be the aggressor. And instead of just moving in with this basic cover, not moving, which is easier for the opponent to read, what we have to do is we have to confuse the opponent a little bit, putting him on his back foot. So as I'm moving in with the step, I can use something called the bracket block. And the bracket block is moving in with your elbows stepping a little forward like this. This provides cover and puts the opponent on the defensive. So I'm in here and I'm moving in like this. As I'm moving, stepping, my elbows in like this, I'm covered, I'm moving a little from side to side, and at any time I can change the moving arm into a punch. That's the bracket block. Another way to move in with an offensive mindset is using the boar head block. Instead of stabbing with the elbows like this, what I'm doing is the bracket block was stabbing with the elbow like this. The boar head block is moving in. It's like when you are seeing people street fight and they're doing this. They want to create a fence in the opponent. In boxing, it's a little more than that. I'm a little bit lower. I'm a little bit more aggressive in my movement. This my opponent can see easily. This moving in like this, jarring, is harder for him to see. So I can move in with the block and counter, or I can move in with the ball head. So these two tactics, they are good for walking a man down if you want to be aggressive. We covered sidestepping, staying defensively responsible, and recovered, moving forward with an aggressive mindset, walking the man down. Next comes the backstep. The backstep is not for retreating away from the opponent blindly or going into survival mode like this, giving the opponent the opportunity to stick you in a spot and punish you. The backstep is to get away from the opponent and to set him up. To get away from the opponent when he's being aggressive. Step back and you pivot and you step back and you go to the side. So, like this is one way to get away, or like this is one way to get away. Using the basic backstep and the basic pivot. The basic backstep and the basic pivot. And after you pivot off, you continue around your opponent, so he has to turn into you. Or you use it as a setup. After you step back and pivot, you counter directly when he's moving forward with aggression. Whenever your opponent is overwhelming you with pressure and you're stepping back, you have to be able to pivot off, or you have to be able to step back, hunker down and move in with aggression, so putting him on the back foot. Or you have to step back and be able to sidestep and then counter from there. So the backstep is not for running, the backstep is to get you out of trouble, creating new opportunities. You have to, as a pugilist, have the ability to turn defense into offense. And practicing these very basic skills with the box step, moving in 4 directions, forwards, backwards and to the sides, using the principles and concepts I just described, will allow you to find holes in your own game and close those, and exploit holes in your opponent's game. So, to recap, what you have to do is stay defensively responsible as you are sidestepping and pivoting, like this or like this. You have to give the opponent something to worry him when you're moving in, and you have to have a plan as you're retreating, either to step away, or to pivot off, or to hunker down and move in. All of those can give you the ability to turn defense into offense, or defense into offense, or defense into offense, changing backward stepping to forward stepping, to side stepping, or to pivoting. So now that you have become aware of these principles and concepts with the basic box step and the basic pivot, it means that you are on your way to unlocking the next layer and becoming a pugilist. This is Flemming from Denmark saying salute. See you on the next one.